What we're going to do is, hey, we're recording in progress. So like I said, I'm here at the Ritz-Carlton in Dana Point, lovely California. It is raining outside, so it's too exciting for us to get that going. But what we're going to talk about today is the NDILC, Certified Delegate Spokeswomen. We have a lot that are traveling, a lot that are under the weather, and it is raining here in California, in sunny California, but it's not sunny today. And we're going to continue the conversation as we celebrate our second anniversary. And this is, again, the NDILC Certified Delegate Spokeswoman, 12 Leadership Principles. And we are starting with number 1 again, and that acknowledge Trailblazers. What makes us so different this time is this beautiful thing is that we hear the beautiful Christmas music in the background. But we're going to acknowledge what it's like to have what books that we have out there. And today we're going to really talk about how we have had challenges through our life and what that acknowledging Trailblazers to give back to those people who've opened the doors for us as women leaders. And it's all different capacities. So the book I'd like to share, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a thought process here. And that book is really about the impact of what we have going for women. And I want to talk about the movie theaters, and I'll give you a little bit about that and what we have about a TV show. And my book, I'm going to give you 3 questions so you can help decipher what that story is. And number 1, it is a lady, obviously. Haha, that was an easy one. Number 2, this woman's mother was my name, Desiree, spelled the same way with the same accent. And number 3, she was a woman who defied all odds, owned the very first production set. As a woman, if you could imagine, very first production set, her mother was named Desiree, and so phenomenal. So I'll give you a minute to think about that, because if you think about the time and what we're dealing with right now, where women play in the ecosystem of equality, you know, how we're our workforce, pay equity gap, and all those kind of things. And how can we help lead that path? And I'm talking just in the generic sense of women in all capacities. So if you haven't guessed by now, it is Lucille Ball. Lucille Ball, obviously, back in the day, here she went through the problems of dealing with marriage, dealing with the fact that her husband on the show, you know, had difficulties, you know, keeping his eyes on her versus in everyone else in the set. And the fact that she was the one who was the brains behind, and she was the one that had to think of all the different things. And here she went from B-rated movies to radio stations, and what that was like to play on that sandbox to make sure that women had a voice. She ran the production studio, and she was the one making sure that this would continue to grow. And if you think about back in that day, I was born in 1960, and the book that I chose was Lucy, I Love Lucy. It ended up being her autobiography, and she did not want to write her autobiography before she had finished her life. She felt there was so much more to live. It wasn't just about the TV show. It just wasn't about what she had started back in the 80s. So she decided that she would pause it for several years before she would finish the book. And what's so beautiful is her two children. You know, what does that look like and what that was going to be to get her inspired again to come back to write the book. And I want to really focus on the thought is that what are we doing in the capacity of making sure that we have, that we're helping pave the way. Here we're dealing with digital transformation. We're in the 4th Industrial Revolution. Here we're dealing with working mothers. Several of us that are certified delegate spokeswomen right now are traveling everywhere and working with their children, working with the holidays, what it's like to prepare for 2022, but also how are we being grounded with so many challenges that life is throwing us. And as women, we're wired to handle the capacity to go with it. So what's very interesting is here's Lucy Ball, back 60 years ago, was showcasing how she was handling a working mother, dealing with production studios, playing out her marriage in real time on the set, but also dealing with the negativity and the positivity that went with it. So that being said, she is my book of choice for acknowledging Trailblazers. She has so much to give, so many things that went through her process, and she made sure that her ability to continue in hindsight of all the negative press and dealing with what was going down, she kept it forefront on and happened to be even killed and making sure that she kept it funny, interesting, and continuing on her legacy. And that being said, to me, if you think about where we're in digital formation right now, we're talking about where we're going and how many, Hollywood's changed so radically, right? If you think about what we have going on with, Jennifer Aniston just came out with something yesterday. It was really thought-provoking to me. She says, she no longer knows who Hollywood is, because the fact is that you were hired based on your talent, how good you were in what you were doing and why you were doing it, based on getting a TV show. Yet today, you are picked based on your YouTube followers or your TikTok followers. So when does that become based on talent, or it becomes on a community or a growth pattern of what people are looking at for that instance? So is it talent of acting, transforming your body, your mind, your soul, and going into a character and bringing that character live and in person to you so you can submerge yourself and becoming part of that? That's how, and so how we get a grade that's going to be in part of it, right? And go with it. So it's very important. And we have several people trying to log on to it and during live games and everything else. So I'm going to go ahead and if you don't mind, give it, this is, yes, please. And so the idea is that this is incredible. So you have people walking back. I didn't want to have my normal backdrop. I wanted to keep it real and keep it out there. So that being said, back to the industry of dealing with what we're doing with the capacity of how we got it. So we have Nina. Hey, Nina. I know you're logging in from a basketball game. Hey.
Hi, everybody.
We're at a basketball game. I'm at the Ritz Carlton.
I am. There you go. Hold on a second.
I love it.
Here's the game. And they're winning. They're winning 12-3.
Hey, so we just started.
So.
Yes. So Nina, in saying hi, what's your book? What would you look? I know you have limited time. So what book would you like to share for Acknowledging Trailblazers?
Acknowledging Trailblazer. Ooh, I'd have to say the one by the CIO of Facebook.
Cheryl?
Yeah, Sheryl Sandberg. Yeah.
Okay.
Love that
Lean
book. Lean In. That's a great book.
Okay. So Acknowledging Trailblazers and Lean In. What excerpt from that book would you feel? You look fabulous. Look at you. Check you out. What do you believe would be a perfect saying within Lean In? Here you are. You're in a basketball game. You're a mother. You're live on Facebook. And you're saying, I can do it all. I can be part both, right? And if you think about the whole thing about Meta and Facebook, what is it? It's about saying that you can share your life. And you're doing that right now. You're sharing that you're a mother at a basketball game for your 11-year-old son, and yet you're still participating in a call.
That's right. That's right. You gotta lean in without no fear.
Her eyes are going.
Take your seat at the table.
You're taking your seat at the bench. It can be a basketball bench at your table.
Love you guys.
All right, take care. All right, take it. Thank you, Nina. All right, have a good one. All right, bye-bye. So the idea is that here you look at Nina is the one who chimed in, and she's on the call, and she's saying, lean in with Sheryl Sandberg. So the idea is that her lean in of her table is the bench at the basketball, right? So that is something that's very special. And I'd like to amplify that. If you think about Lucille Ball, she brought us into her kitchen table. She brought into what it's like to be in her home life, what it's like to deal with all the different aspects of it. And here we were laughing with her on that show production. At the same time, we got to see what it was like to what the real life was behind her. Remember, we did not have social media during her time. So the only reports and information and scuttlebutt we could see was what the reporters were reporting based on, we were like, oh my God. Well, now everyone's a journalist. Everyone's reporting the information. Everyone has to be live. Everyone has to be real on the spot, right? That difference is very looking at what we're doing and what Hollywood brings, what the entertainment world brings, what the digital interface is bringing. And if you think the analogy of what we're doing right now, I mean, it could not be perfect timing to think about Love Lucy with Lucille Ball. We're in an environment to where the internet was not accepted. Now, if you think about the metaverse and what that's like for virtual versus physical, here we are, we're living in the virtual space. But our physical space is what controls our body. And our mind is being pulled into a virtual space. So here, Lucille Ball brought us into her kitchen, brought us into her home. And her home, through her eyes and what she showed us through her TV production studio, was to make sure that we were still engaging and living the life. And you think about Kim Kardashian, you think about all these other different family events and what it's like to live with another family. That is what Lucille Ball started back in the day. And now we're sitting there saying, Love Lucy, that she got to see and hear her inner thoughts and why she did what she did and how she did it. And it's really cool how her children actually were put out the prefaces and how what that looked like and what it meant to them, to her, and the struggles she went through to actually finish her autobiography. So as I know that several of our delegates, like I said, are having a lot of holidays, a lot of people get sick, a lot of moving and craziness and office change. We just got done moving our office here at NAWRB just because of logistics. It's so much better and easy. It's going down. So that I'd like to know on this shortened, abbreviated video that we're doing right now on number 1, NDILC, Acknowledge Trailblazers, which is the entire month of December. Who are you going to acknowledge, and what book is the best representation for it that we can put out there for all of 2022? It is the entire month of December. If you think about how can we have the joy of getting together with our family, or even having that great meal, or even having that special moment to have the memories, to be what it's like to celebrate whatever religion we are, whatever faith we are, whatever hurdles or obstacles we're going through, is to have faith in something and have that moment that we can take December and take a special day that we can, or days that we can celebrate and say, as I always say, is that every day is worth living the day we can smile. So acknowledging those trailblazers of what that book relates to is really going to give us our strength. So I want to thank everyone who chimed in today for this very short, brief NDILC leadership for Acknowledge Trailblazers, because again, it's not what we see, it's what's happening behind the scenes. And that's what I think is so powerful, is that you don't see all the incredible work that everyone's doing, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's a major corporation. We only see what we see in the news, and they always want to say they're really, really good, or we want to find something that's negative that sells news, right? Or you can share, oh my God, gosh. The idea is that what's really transpiring behind the scenes and what that whole makeup is to be so powerful that's happening that we need to know about it. Those are the things that I think are much more important, because it's not about the fame and the glory. It really is about what we're doing for the quality life and how we can live a better life and how we can keep humanity connected. And I want to thank everyone for joining me for the NDILC Leadership Principle today. And please make sure to post and share what number 1, Acknowledge Trailblazers, and what book represents to you. And part of the game, I'd love to find out if you can post 3 questions about it so we can guess. And then you can come back an hour or 2 later and then post the name of the book so we can go through it. So thank you all. Have a very, very happy holidays in whatever that brings to you. And then next month we'll have it again. We'll start off again with our NDILC. And these are every Thursday, the first Thursday and the second Thursday. And this for the delegate version, it is at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So everyone have an incredibly blessed December, and we'll see you back in 2022. So take care. I'm Desiree Patno with NAWRB, and we look forward to having a great another session. So have a good one. Bye-bye.